It's been 2 years since we've been on the air, bringing movers, shakers, and policymakers to discuss issues important to the community. That's right. It's State of the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Claville. We're here at a new time, but same topics, same impact. It's all about you. We'll be back in just a moment for our anniversary show here on State of the Water. Stay tuned in. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's Stay in the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Claville. I want to thank you for joining us on this Sunday morning at 10 a.m. That's right, our new time. I know you're used to hearing us at the top of the hour, coming in at 1 o'clock for the last 2 years, but we're here now at 10 a.m. Look, we're excited about this new time. We're excited about this, what we have coming up for the new year. But this is our anniversary show. You know, I can't believe it that we've been on the air bringing movers, shakers, and policymakers to you to discuss issues important to the community for 2 years. You know, we couldn't do it without you, our supporters. We couldn't do it without these phenomenal alums that we have at the Norfolk State University, home of the Spartan Nation, some of the greatest alumni, student, faculty, and administrators, and, of course, the greatest president in the world here in the great city of Norfolk. I'm telling you, we're blessed to be here on this campus, the largest and the best HBCU in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and I dare say, in all of the United States. And we also couldn't do what we do without our producer, who's been here with me from day one, DJ Scandalous, also known as Marvin Folks.
How you doing there, sir? It's been 2 years. Wow.
It's been 2 years. I can't believe it, you know. When this idea first started as an initiative of the Center for African American Public Policy to do a radio program, I said, hey, you know, I got a great idea to, you know, talk about these important issues, talk about issues in policy, in law, in politics, and not just that, but on the grassroots level as well. You know, talking to community leaders, talking to people that are out there on the ground, in the community, doing the work. You know, a lot of times, you know, scandalous, we hear, you know, from the politicians, that's good. We hear from the academicians. That's good. I'm one. We hear from the think tank directors and leaders, you know, and scholars. That's good. I am one. But it's nothing like hearing from the people.
The community. That's right.
Absolutely. Because listen, you live in your community.
Yep. Born and raised.
You know, you not only live there, but you pay taxes there. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Jones down the street there. You know, Mr. and Mrs. Williams up the street. You know, the kids that you grew up with, the grandkids that are coming up. You know, when it's hard to get the city to come in and cut down the trees and people speeding and so forth. And you know the impact that businesses have, that you need economic development there. You know it. So what better person to hear from than you, the community that's living out there? So we want you to call in. Look, this is our anniversary show. You know, we're going to talk about some of the things that we've done in the past and some things that we have coming up as well. But we want to hear from you. Give us a call and let us know how you've enjoyed Stay in the Water. What type of impact is made in your life? 757-823-9110. That's 757-823-9110. Give us a call. We want to know what you think. You can also, for those of you that operate by your phones like I do, and we all operate in some aspect of social media, contact us on our social media at Hot 91 Online. Give us a call or give us a click. Instagram, Facebook, go to our YouTube page, Twitter, whatever you operate by, however you communicate. Let us know how we're doing. 757-823-9110. Scandalous, you know, thinking back, again, 2 years, right?
Yep.
You know,
2020.
2020.
What a time.
You know, when you say 2020, you know, a lot of things took place during that time period. You know, we had, of course, you know, everybody's like the year 2020 is a milestone in our time and so forth. You know, you got the identical numbers and people were, you know, this is our year and things of that nature. And we launched the show. You know, we were over in the old studio. And for those of you that are listening to us, we're in our new studio here on the campus back in Madison Hall. For those of you guys who are alums of NSU, you know Madison Hall. So we're back over here with this multi-million-dollar renovation, top-of-the-line equipment. I'm telling you, it is nice. So we're blessed to be here. But we started off in the old station.
That's right.
You know, and for those of you that watch, you know, some of us online, especially our man, Run TV, you know, who's always broadcasting. You can see him always broadcasting
on
inside
Facebook
the studio.
And everything.
You know, you saw how kind of small that station was, you know, but I loved it because we were close, you know, the intimacy of it, the ability to collaborate back and forth. You know, it really made a difference. I don't know about you.
No, it did. It made a difference, and that's a legacy building. I mean, this is a legacy building as well too, because this is where it started at in 1980. But that's a legacy building, man. And you know, we grew a close relationship with our nurses over there, our first responders, because the clinic is right there. So, you know, and the students got to see us at one point before the pandemic when the Spartan Station had food there, so the students can walk by, get their food, and see us, and they can also hear us while they're out there eating. And we'll shout them out and everything. So it was a real intimate setting. But it's going to be even greater here that we're back at Madison where it first started at, because this is what people know as the communications building. So the mass comm students take a lot of their classes right here, and then they're over there at the new Memorial Brown Hall as well, but they take a lot of classes right here in the communications building. So they're going to be able to see the studio where they're going to want to work at one day and go out and you know, be broadcasters out there in the field of radio.
You know what? Where it all started. You know, it's always good to kind of go back to remember where things always started, you know, because that's our foundation, right? And when you go back and understand where you started, you can look back and, as we say in the church, look back and see where the Lord has brought us from. You know, and not just see where he brought us from, but to be thankful, you know, because of that. And, you know, when I look back, you know, on the 2 years of Stay in the Water, it's you know, I'm so thankful that God has given us opportunity just to be able to talk about these important issues. You know, a lot of times, a lot of people don't want to touch these issues that are out there, right? You know, there's a lot of issues in the public, a lot of issues in politics, a lot of issues, you know, dealing with very sensitive information, but also very complicated information. And there's not many people out there that say, hey, I want to, you know, let's delve into it, because there's like, I don't want to touch that, right? You know, but the whole idea of the concept of this show was to do just that. Dive into it. You know, listen, when I say dive into it, I mean take a deep dive right into it. You know, and one of the things that we've done is that we've been able to garner, you know, leveraging some of my personal relationships and connections out there, you know, we've been able to bring some high-profile individuals in our community on air. They say, you know what, let's deal with this. So instead of getting the stump speech and the commercials, and when we talk about politics, I want to start there first. I said, let's get the candidates on air. So we've had everybody from my good friend, Congressman Bobby Scott, on air, Congresswoman Elaine Luria on air, U.S. Senator Mark Warner on air, U.S. Senator Tim Kaine on air, and also we've had our governor, past Governor Northam, and then of course the candidate that was running for governor, our past governor. You know, so we've had these individuals on air asking them the hard questions, asking them, okay, these were great things, but what about the community? What about the most vulnerable? What about those individuals that are making minimum wage? What about the African-American community? What about our great HBCUs? What are you going to do?
And student loan debt.
Student loan debt. You know what? You mentioned student loan debt, and that's an issue that we dealt with a couple of weeks ago. And we're going to deal with it again because, our favorite son, Virginia Beach, and an honorary doctorate of Norfolk State University, Pharrell Williams, he made a statement up in D.C. in which Dr. J and I were very fortunate enough to be a part of, where he said, you know what, if I can make an impact paying off student loan debt for a select group of students, how much more can the United States of America do? So one of our alums had their student loan debt paid off.
Paid in full.
Paid in full. Reminds me of that classic hip-hop album for y'all, all your old heads out there, EPMD, right?
There you go.
But again, not just paid in full, but also we're talking about it in full. And when I say talking about it, we're not only just talking to the candidates about the issues in which affect black people, affect African-American communities. Because, listen, we're going to talk about this in the last half of the show, but our vote matters. It counts. One thing, Scandalous, I tell individuals, whether it's in the classroom, whether it's in the community lecture series, I said, listen, do not let your voice be muted. Don't let your vote be taken for granted. First of all, go out and vote. You got to vote. And we got a midterm election coming up, and I'm going to cover that as a prelim to our candidate conversation series we have coming up starting this month. But make sure that when you vote, individuals respect your vote. Just don't give it away. When you cast your vote, you're saying to those individuals, hey, I want you to represent me. I want you to speak my voice. I want you to understand my concerns and my ideas. And when you do that, keep in mind that I have the opportunity to either give you a thumbs up or thumbs down when I go back into the booth in 2 years or in 4 years, or in the case of our U.S. senators, in 6 years. So we've got that opportunity coming up again, which kind of leads me into, and again, I don't want to get into it just yet, but I want to talk about some of the other impactful series that we've had. Not just conversations with the candidate, but we also had conversation with the black church. It was a phenomenal opportunity that we had in order to partner with the public radio and to talk about and to look at the black church. This is our story. This is our song. Dr. Henry Louis Gates Jr., his series that aired on PBS, you can go back and take a look at it. But, we talked about the state of the black church, and this was back in February of 2021. And on that, we had two dynamic pastors on one show, along with my good friend Barbara Ham Lee, a place where I got my start in radio. I owe a lot of to her for starting the Claville Report. A series in which we won a national award for, and we're so grateful and thankful for that. And we're in doing that. We were able to bring, again, two dynamic pastors on air with us. And not just that, but we're also able to bring other pastors on air to talk about the state of the black church. The state of the black church. What does that mean? This is Sunday, right? And we go into our places of worship every Sunday because this is our country where we're able to worship wherever we want to worship, which is one of the great things about our country, one of the great freedoms. But not just that, but it's just not getting the word of God, but it's putting the word of God into action. So we talked about the challenges of the African-American church and how the African-American church itself is a major institution, not just in our community, but also in this country and in the world. I mean, think about it, Scandalous. The black church is where we see where a lot of our movements started for African-American people. The education of African Americans started first majorly through our churches, right? Not only that, matter of fact, Nate Parker did a movie about
Birth of a Nation.
One of the great first black preachers that we had that was also a revolutionary. Right
from here,
right here in the Hampton Roads area. But not only that, but I want to go ahead and jump over from that time period to look what happened in the civil rights movement. African-American churches played a major part in our trajectory and where change happened in this country. And then, the church I grew up in, the Church of God in Christ, at Mason Temple, where Dr. King gave his mountaintop speech.
Wow.
Right there in Memphis, Tennessee. It was at the church. So, we wanted to cover that. And again, not just conversation with the candidate, but conversation with the black church about issues affecting the community. And not only that, but we also, started covering some other major issues. We started to look at, when I talk about these kind of difficult topics that kind of need, just individuals to break it down too, it was the idea to look at these very important cases that come out of the Supreme Court, or these very important laws and this conflict that we see happening in Washington, D.C. Why is it that Republicans and Democrats can't get along? Why is it they can't decide on a bill to become a law? What's the deal with a filibuster? Why is the Supreme Court able to overrule years of precedent where you could be able to do this, but now you can't? So we started to do on this show, kind of break down, these key cases, break down the fight over various rights, voting rights, break down on why is it that states no longer have to submit their changing plans to the Department of Justice, even though they discriminate against black people for decades. What is going on? So we went through that lecture series there, but it looks like we have, we went through that lecture series and we started to talk about, again, those important issues. So at this time, listen, just like the important issues that we talk about, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back to talk more about State of the Water 2-year anniversary. We'll be back in just a moment.
Program support sponsored in part by the Universal Circus.
Welcome to the Universal Circus. National Harbor is the closest it's coming to your city.
Oh, it was awesome. That was a very special experience.
I don't know. It's an amazing experience. Amazing. I'm shocked.
I'm totally amazed, and I feel like I'm a part of it.
The Universal Circus is now in D.C.
Everyone coming together, different cultures, different people. It was absolutely amazing.
National Harbor, this 4th of July weekend. Sponsored by McDonald's of Greater D.C.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Wilkerson, the host of On the Line with Cheryl Wilkerson. Now, my show airs on Sundays at 12 noon, and I want you to join me because I absolutely love talking to people. They can come from any walk of life, any community, and I sit and I talk to them and I learn so many things. You will enjoy the show. I promise you that. So join me Sundays at 12 noon right here, Hot 91, the soul of VA.
Welcome back. It's State of the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Claville, here for our 2nd year anniversary show, broadcasting live from the campus of the Norfolk State University here on WNSB Hot 91, the soul of VA. I know you're used to hearing us at 1 p.m. on every Sunday, but we're here during our new time at 10 a.m. And not just our new time, but also a new format. We used to be 1 hour, but now we're half hour on the air because, we've got an impact of new shows that are coming and hitting the air. So we have these 30-minute blocks, half-hour blocks. So for 2 hours, from 10 a.m. to 12 noon, we're talking about issues covering the state of the Commonwealth, state of the water, state of what's happening in our community. Then we're going to talk about money with Black Wall Street. Then we're going to talk about health and healing in Hampton Roads with Dr. Mevin here, a great leader of our Center for our Minority Health Institute here and one of our great leaders for health initiatives. And then after that, our wonderful sister Cheryl Wilkerson on the air with her on the wire. She's going to talk to us again, bringing guests and talk about important issues. So we're excited about this new format. We're excited about what it's going to bring to you, the listeners. Heck, we're excited. I'm excited. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but I'm tremendously excited.
New times, new building, new equipment, just everything new. And sometimes change is good.
Sometimes change is good. You said a mouthful there. I think that'll preach right?
I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it.
Look, I know there's plenty of pastors out there that's getting geared up to preach. So if you're looking for a quick message, sometimes change is good. A couple of minutes of DJ Scandalous. Scandalous, it's just as we're talking and we're engaging here on air, we're kind of joking around, engaging in banter back and forth. That's how we are in the studio.
That's right.
Off air. When I think about it, I new to the station. Like I said, I was over at WHRO, WHRV there with my sister Barbara Ham Lee with the Claville Report and as a regular commentator there. And phenomenal station, phenomenal people, enjoy being on that air. But coming over new here on WNSB, always listen to the station, right? Always locked it in, great music, great interviews and so forth. And then I come in and new to the station, and I've got a veteran like you. Somebody who's known not just in the Hampton Roads area, not just on this radio station, but a national recording artist yourself and producer that's works with some major stars. And they're like, hey, I want you to work with this guy. And then they tell you, hey, I want you to work with this guy. And we come in and we just automatically just jive immediately,
Yep. Political science and music industry meshed together.
And it's an unlikely alliance.
Very unlikely.
I've never seen anything like it.
Me either. But it happened and it worked very, very well. I mean, I can think back to, September 2020 when we had the first senatorial debate here at Norfolk State University.
That's right. Back in October. Yeah.
October.
Yep.
And you had me a part of that, man. And that's when I was working on my master's in cybersecurity here at Norfolk State. And it was just a phenomenal time and such an honor to be a part of that. And that was thanks to you. Hot 91 was also a part of it as well, a partner with the senatorial debate. And Cheryl Wilkerson did some interviews. But I was there as a student ambassador, as a grad student ambassador. So once again, still being a part of the station, but getting a touch on that side of political science. And I got to work with Senator Mark Warner and Senator Gabe. And, it was just an honor, man. So like I said, just the music industry, from my insight from being in entertainment since I was 12, 13 in 2001 all the way up to now. And, with your expertise as a professor, an administrator, and a lawyer, just combined together, man, such a great team, and being able to give this great information out there to the community that they need.
It's kind of interesting that you mentioned that, because 2020, like, a lot happened. Like, we started the show, but not only that, but then immediately we kind of got into this, putting on this debate. Now, of course, I've been around politics ever since I was 19 years old, even before that.
Wow.
And just intimately involved, working for elected officials behind the scenes, in the room, as a 19, 20-year-old college student, working as, at time, a legislative assistant, which is known as the chief of staff for that position now, for a new elected city councilwoman back in college. And then from there, working in the state legislature, and then doing work across the board, and working in the Senate and things of that nature. So I've been around, but, it was crazy because putting that Senate debate on is the first time that we hosted it, something like that. It was the first time it's ever been hosted at HBCU. We were the first ones to do it, and we had to do it in COVID.
Yes.
And this is COVID pre-vaccine.
Checking temperatures at the door, masked up.
Limiting, attendance. Of course, we have it in our phenomenal performance arts, Wilder Performing Arts Center here, which is, I'm just going to say it. It's the most magnificent performing arts center here in Hampton Roads, in Southampton Roads, on the peninsula. I would even dare say from Richmond all the way down, and one of the best in the Commonwealth.
And you've been to many of them.
Absolutely. So, it holds 1,500 people.
Wow.
But we had to scale it down to 10%. But we partner with our phenomenal media partner, Wavy 10. Next Star is their parent company. And it was broadcast across the entire Commonwealth, but not just that, but also across 4 other states, including the District of Columbia. And, it appeared in over 200 publications. And not only that, but guess what? we were the number one broadcast on that night, beating out American Ninja Warrior. Now, first of all, I had no idea American Ninja Warrior was that popular, but but we beat out American Ninja Warrior and had a higher rating, Nielsen ratings, than the Joe Biden town hall, which aired immediately afterwards. I know, crazy.
Now, those are some stats I'm just now learning myself. Wow.
Look, it was crazy. And we put those stats on the website, and, you can go to our website anytime at the university, www.nsu.edu, put in U.S. Senate debate, and you can see the stats that were there. Absolutely phenomenal. And not only did we do it in COVID, pre-vaccine COVID, but we also had 0 positive COVID cases, not just the night of the debate, but also during the setup of the debate as well. God gave us favor, and we're so thankful for that. And again, we talk about God giving us favor on this Sunday. To be able to do something for 2 years straight, where we see like there's no loyalty out there anymore. People don't stay on jobs, for 2 years anymore.
And especially in this day and time.
In this day and time, it used to be players, they stay on the same team for, 10, 15, 20 years. But now, they're going to one team and traded to the other. And for all you guys that are wondering if your favorite football team is going to be in the same conference, who knows?
You don't know.
You don't know. There's no loyalty out there. But one thing about this community, this HBCU community, this Norfolk State community, this WNSB Hot 91 community, this community that we have is loyalty in the community. And I'm so grateful and thankful for you guys that are supporting us and have supported us over the last 2 years. And we're going to keep going because without you, we wouldn't be on the air. We get calls all the time. We get emails all the time to the radio station. They're like, we love this show. We love what's happening. We love what's going on. We love all the things that you guys are talking about because nobody talks about it. We talked about delving into these important Supreme Court cases. Nobody talked about, why our voting rights are under attack. Nobody talked about how many bills or what bills are up in the legislature here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. But we've had our legislators on. My good friend, alum, Delegate Cliff Hayes, who's a friend of NSU, a friend to, of course, the baseball team, a friend to WNSB, a friend to State of Water, is on all the time, with us to talk about what's happening in our community. Candy King, who's also an alum. Jackie Glass, who represents this area where Norfolk State sits. They were on the air, right? Telling us about what we should know about, the things that are important to us up in Richmond. And not just that, but also our phenomenal senators who represent us in the Senate, Senator Lionel Sproul, and also, of course, our President Pro Tem, Senator Louise Lucas. So, we're excited and we're blessed to have not just people in the community, but we're excited to have alums who got their education here. They got their foundation and are going out in the community doing great things. As we look at our new format, like I said, a half hour goes by just like that. Heck, I thought an hour went by fast, but a half hour goes by even faster. So in our new format, we're going to be impactful, going back and forth, getting you the information out there. But we don't want you to stop right there. We want you to be engaged with us on the air, engage with us on our social media at hot91online.org, or you can go to our website. You can go to university website at www.nsb.edu/WNSB and let us know how we're doing. And we're going to have new things happening all the time. And we want you to stay connected to us because once again, we're blessed to be able to do this for 2 years. We're blessed to be able to do this and come to you to tell you about what's happening in the community, bringing movers, shakers, and policymakers to discuss issues important to you, the community. This is Stay in the Water. I'm your host, Dr. Eric Claville. Once again, thank you for trusting us with your time and continue to join us every Sunday at 10 a.m. Until next time, God bless.